Welcome to AI TV. Today we're broadcasting here from Cape Town. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Jacques Ludik, who's the CEO of the Cortex Group. Welcome, Jacques.
Thank you very much, Nick. It's great to be here again.
So, we've been having conversations over this year. I mean, Jacques, you've been, an AI pioneer in this region as early as early 2000s. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yes, Nick, it's quite interesting. So my whole career has been built on AI. I actually did my Ph.D. in AI and machine learning. Actually, what we did was the whole spectrum of AI. It was like fuzzy logic, machine learning, expert systems, genetic optimization, all of it. But I specialized in machine learning, and specifically recurrent neural nets. And my master's and Ph.D. was in that area. That was mid-90s. Did some research and started applying AI in various sectors in the business space. So we collaborated with the business school, but also collaborated with the Department of Chemical Engineering and Process Engineering, Electronic Engineering, and obviously meeting some of the people that eventually became some of my partners in my first AI business. We started in 98, 99, which was the time Google started. So it's very early days.
Yeah, I mean, and probably the first in the Western Cape, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, when I did my PhD, I was probably the first in South Africa. There was no, or even Africa. I don't think there was a lot of focus really on AI in Africa at that time. So it was it was just great. It was I loved computer science. I loved pattern recognition, all these kind of things. I was fascinated by the subject, and I didn't know where this was going to end. So it's been an unbelievable journey so far. And learned so much. And one of the things I did in the late 90s was even building models of brain disorders, working with Professor Dan Stein. And he's still in academia. He's now at UCT. And he's been one of the most prolific researchers on the African continent. He's been like a top-rated researcher, and he's still in this area. But it was interesting the things we did. So we actually built these recurrent neural network models where we simulate some experiments that was applied to patients that's got OCD and all of it. And you make lesions to this network and you see the effect. And you simulate effectively what's happening. So it's fascinating stuff. And there was a book out, Neural Networks and Psychopathology, around that. But anyway, that's how it started. It was a lot of research and academia stuff, but I was always intrigued by the applications. Can we solve problems? And obviously the whole C-Sense journey was fascinating, working especially in the financial services sector. And we appointed, you talked about the Western Cape, but the Sanlam, Santam, there was Liberty Life, there was a lot of these customers initially, but our main focus area was the industrial space at that time, which was a good choice because you had Sasol, Richmond Minerals, and Beach Babbitt, and Lonman, and all these companies. And it always also provided us with an entry into other, because they're multinational, they're also operating in Australia and Canada and other places. So we started rolling out our AI solutions, not only in Africa, but also abroad, internationally, and that opened the door for us. And then from there, it was not only minerals, metals, mining, but also manufacturing. So it was fascinating, learned a lot. Thought of doing an MBA and things after my PhD, but like you in business, you
just jumped straight into being an entrepreneur.
We just jumped straight in, learn, and there's no substitute for that.
So now you've gone on to build Cortex.
Yes,
tell people a little bit about Cortex.
So Cortex is driven by our massive transformative purpose, and that's helping businesses thrive and society thrive in the smart technology era. And I know we shared a vision also around helping to shape a better future in the smart technology era, and the incredible work that you've been doing in building an AI community as well. That was the same with us with MIIA, obviously involved there. But Cortex is obviously is more the commercial entity and focused on operationalizing AI for enterprises. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, we do live in a very interesting world right now where you see these scalable platform businesses, the Ubers, the Airbnbs, and Facebooks and Googles. That's super impactful, and I think there's opportunity because everything is becoming data driven to actually establish these scalable platform businesses. You either want to be an AI engine for that, helping to drive that, or you want to be that platform. So there's very specific initiatives that we are looking at right now. So it's like, to summarize, AI engine for enterprises. We learn a lot how to apply and solve problems. Some of the same things there can be utilized also in scalable platform businesses as well. And I don't think the key thing is just to be very focused and selective. You can't do everything. We can't do everything. So there's very specific focus areas for us, and that's it in a nutshell. Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, early pioneer in this space, in this region. Obviously, Cape Town has a lot to offer to tech companies in general, not just AI companies, but clearly the explosion of interest around AI and data science makes Cape Town a big destination for companies wanting to set up here. Interesting business climate, interesting weather climate.
Right.
But what do you see as the key ingredients that make Cape Town this great melting pot for AI entrepreneurs?
That's a very interesting one, because we were part of that initial. I'm just my focus area, or at least my environment initially, was Stellenbosch University and Technopark, because when I started CSIN Systems at that time, there was a few of these kind of smart technology companies coming to the fore. There was and satellites, and we were the AI company, and there were some others as well, engineering companies that started there as well. But what's the ingredients? I think there's obviously talent here. So we've got some really good universities in Stellenbosch and UCT and others here as well. But I think there's maybe a mindset here as well, and there's kind of there's an entrepreneurial mindset, and it's we were just part of that. There's so many other examples where you see exactly the same thing. So I don't know if it's something in the food and the air or what it is, but you picked up on it straight away when you started getting involved here as well. So, we started the first company right here. It was at Stellenbosch University, at Technopark. The whole development team here, we had to move the executive team up to Joburg because most of our customers were up there, but our development was still here. Yeah. And it's the same here with Cortex. We see a kind of a repeat of that. There is the core is here, but we are very ambitious in terms of what we want to do elsewhere. But yeah, so what is the ingredients? I'm not sure if we even see mentors and stuff, because it was just hooking up with like-minded people at that time, and we were kind of exploring. We were like breaking ground, I think, at that time. But we just wanted to solve. We were going to conquer the world. It was just amazing. I see something of the Silicon Valley, that early entrepreneurship. I think it just sprang up, and there was more people that thought like that. And I think things have evolved since then. Well, there's the Silicon Cape initiatives, and you know about all the other things that's happening here. And I think the last 3 years, the traction has been incredible. It was really before that. That's why I founded MIIA as well, the Machine Intelligence Institute of Africa, because we want to network together the critical resources around AI and smart technology. And it was almost like up to 2015, 16, there was not really a community, and that's what we independently started with our communities around this. But there was other people, like I obviously talked to Zindi and Data Science Nigeria. There was elsewhere in Africa as well, this type of thing. But so anyway, to answer your question, I'm not exactly sure what's it in the Western Cape.
Like a secret sauce.
There's a secret sauce there.
And what do you think? I mean, just sort of wrap up, Jacques. I mean, what do you feel? I mean, obviously we're broadcasting out now to the global community, but I mean, what do you think we need to do here in the Western Cape and this part of South Africa, and South Africa in general, and Africa in general? What do we need to do to grow this movement, if we want to call it a movement?
I think that's absolutely critical. I'm sitting tomorrow at Stellenbosch University in the strategy fund meetings with them as well. They've got interesting plans as well. It's great to have insights there. But what we need to do is really collaborate and work together. We're going to be much stronger if we put all the stakeholders really come together and collaborate. So I think. So what do we need to do? We need to really, I think we need proper funding as well, social responsibility investment funding. But we will only get that if we really collaborate well. Then we can attract proper money. That's one thing. I think the whole education around AI, we need to share a lot more. We need to be slick around how do we build this community. I don't think we've tapped into the potential of what MIIA and what AI media and what all the things that we're busy with can do. So I think we're just scratching the surface here. So, and I think from a Western Cape perspective, we need to take a leadership position here. Clearly, we've got a lot going for us here. So if we can collaborate and showcase to the rest of Africa as well and the world how we can collaborate in an optimal way and how we get this right, we create an absolute successful center of excellence around smart technology, and then we can duplicate that and collaborate and help with other areas in Africa. And I think I saw a little bit of that with when we started MIIA. We had these panel discussions with their data science bootcamp when they just started trying to get off the ground, and then that helped a little bit, but then they created their own spiral, and you just
it's interesting. I mean, I see lots of interesting things going on. I mean, to do things at the continental level is very difficult.
Yes.
But I think if we can see what suits a local, regional
yes.
kind of activity and learn from it, and maybe
yes.
inject some of that back into our local ecosystem, that's
yes.
probably the next step we can take. But
absolutely,
Jacques, it's always a pleasure. I mean, we never have enough time when we do these things, but
absolutely.
It's great to get your insights, and it's one I think which our audience will love to hear. And best wishes with Cortex and the growth plan ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nick. It was a pleasure, and thank you for all the excellent work that you're doing as well. It's really appreciated, and I think you play an incredibly important role in this whole space. So thank you.
Thanks, Jacques.
Okay,
Cheers.
good.